Okay, the topic of this video is something like your creative potential and how it emanates from you, from the inside, and how people can't really take it away from you. They'll just try and bring it out of you. So you'll find that your sins are sort of encased in your face. So they're in your body and they are who you are, whether brought about through whatever circumstance. So if you sort of use it as a crevice to jump off of, you can really find a footing and make sure that your trajectory is one that you really want. It's not despite yourself, your sins, or whatever you are. It's just the tool. So you might as well use what you have. Put your hands up. Just try and organise and relate what it is to people in a communicatory fashion, what I'm speaking about. So you think like all your weaknesses are terrible, and you might have bad diet, like eat lots of soy, lots of seed oils. You might be sort of in the dumps, like you feel like you're underwater half the time. Something's wrong, but you don't know what it is because you've not educated yourself, because you've not had thousands of hours by yourself to look into it, because you've been busy, because society has made you busy, unfortunately, and that creates a negative feedback loop where you can't be creative, but your creative potential is part of using that society as a skateboard and using yourself not as a scapegoat but as sort of a jumping off board. And really, this confrontation with society, as I've had and many other people have had, you just have to use it. And that uncomfortability, that unnerving aspect of it, will create a beard. No, it will sort of create this friction, and you can use that. So it's not often you'll get a huge amount of unnerving and excitatory energy when you're older, unless you're really faced with a bunch of shit. So you might as well actually try to use that claustrophobic, inescapable, terrifying fear that consumes you as a driving force, because it's a huge amount of energy. And if you feel depleted on energy, just take a breath, and try and recover, because there's a lot of things that will try to sort of make you feel like you need a rest, and often you do. But if you are sort of taking it to heart, and you're taking it in that chakra, and you're letting it unnerve you and deplete your solar plexus, so you don't expand, then you're stuck. So it's just a matter of, it's always that thing in the movie, isn't it? It's the person that used their disadvantages and their bad things that was just there at the right time, but they used a certain strategy. They used themselves. That's the point. Because you are an object to an extent, aren't you? So you have to make sure that you use yourself in an amicable way, in a way that makes sense in the situation. If I'm an introvert and I go into an organisation that requires complete extroversion, I will completely suffer as a sort of the need to eradicate myself as a person in order to excel. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to make sure, if you have sort of like a weird thing about you, that you use it. It's not that, oh, I'm an artist, I'm just I'm born this way, I'll never be another thing. It's just there is only the present sometimes, and sometimes you haven't done the work, and sometimes that does allow you to get to a certain point of impact into the system, because you are at an angle, you're a sin, you are yourself. You can't go around yourself, you have to use yourself. So you might as well use yourself. That's part of the creative potential, realising your limitations, because half of it is your limitation and the restriction. And then there's the expression, which is creation. So if you came about it in an unusual way, that helps. Sometimes, as long as you're not doing weird shit. I mean, maybe the weirdest shit that's siphoned into something useful is actually the most creative and most um, exclusive way of contributing. But sometimes people take it overboard, They do really plummet the human race into some sort of entropy, ultimate chaos philosophy that they've learned from other people. But if people actually used that sort of chaotic feeling and siphoned it into a figure, then they could present beauty in their own way. Yeah.